surprised because that's exactly what I do. I help people to break through in their lives, career, and relationships. I must say, even though this is the most common question, and probably by now people already should know how to break through in life, you will be surprised how many people still don't know how to do that. And I must say, this is something what many people question themselves. This is something I receive messages about via social media, I receive emails, and I'm asked on a regular basis. Just even face-to-face when clients come to me, they come with the one question. They say, I want to break through. I want to break through from where I am right now. So let's dig deeper today. What does it mean to break through in life? I must say, sometimes it could be easier to say than to do. But don't get discouraged. Even though you haven't done it before, even though you haven't found out before how to do it, it is still possible to do. So before I move on to the actually how can we do it, please do let me know where you're joining me from, what's your location, and if you had your own strong breakthroughs in life. I would love to find out, because what can be better than actually have an open discussion here and to see what have you experienced. So please do let me know. So how can we start the breakthrough process? I must say, it always starts with you knowing where you are right now, okay? Knowing where you are right now, it's almost like having that current location at your GPS system, at your sat-nav, right? Because if you don't know where you are right now, how do you know where do you want to get? Right? I know many people always start with, okay, I need to know where I need to get, which is logical, absolutely. However, you need to be really realistic where you are right now. And then, of course, next step would be, where do I want to get? But here is the trick. Why many people are not so driven? Simply because they were never exposed to what they can do or what they can achieve. So of course, in that case, it is quite tricky to say, oh, just decide for yourself where you would like to get and do that. No. If you would know before where you would like to get, you would do it beforehand. But there's always something what stops you from getting there. Right? And therefore, it's really important to remember that the first step is being realistic at where you are right now. And for this, I would suggest simply sit down and write it down. Where do you think you are, right? What do you think is the situation in your life, in your relationship, or in your business is right now? Okay? This would be your first step. So, take a blank piece of paper, take a pen, and write it down. I'm single, or I'm in relationships, I'm happy, not happy, I'm in successful career, or maybe I'm not, and what your life situation is, right? And be as realistic as possible. What do I mean by that? By that, I mean almost like tell somebody else your story, right? So don't go into too many emotions, but go into facts, okay? Fact. Where am I right now in my life, all right? That's very important. So that's the first step. And of course, here we must remember that before we go to the next step, which is finding out where you would like to get, we need to see, why did you end up in a situation where you are right now? Okay, what exactly made you to be here? What exactly made you to be stuck where you are right now? Okay, why are you stuck in your relationships? Why are you stuck in your career? Why are you not progressing in your life, right? So all of that is really important to remember. So here, second step, before we move on how to get somewhere, right? Your second step actually is about, why am I here, right? And this is a very, very important step. Think about this. Have you end up here because your parents never exposed you to a better life? Have you end up here because maybe you saw your dad or your mom being your role model and showing you exactly how things should be? You know, that paradigm which is in your mindset, right? So that all will affect you. So here, please make sure, think about this. How exactly did you end up where you are right now? Okay, what made you to be here? What made you to be stuck in this situation, right? And the reason why I use the word stuck, because that's exactly how people feel. When people come to me, they say, I feel stuck at my career, I have no progress, or I am stuck in my relationships and nothing really moves on, or I'm stuck in my life, I don't feel fulfilled, right? So here, please make sure, write down what do you think brought you into where you are right now, okay? And the reason why, because those reasons, why do you think you are right now in this situation, we need to work with those. Okay, and that's even beyond knowing where you want to get. Okay, because these are the reasons which were stopping you before. It could be lack of confidence, it could be not knowing how, which is lack of knowledge, right? Very often people confuse lack of knowledge with lack of confidence. But I must say, it is not always about lack of confidence. It could be lack of competence. Simply because you don't know how, it doesn't mean you're not confident. All right. So it could be lack of confidence, could be lack of competence, could be you being pulled back by your family members, by your friends. Maybe somebody does not support you, right? It could be also lack of opportunities in your area. And what I mean by lack of opportunities in your area, because I do believe that right now we live in a world of technology. That's exactly how I'm live with you, probably at your office right now, or maybe in your own living room. We have technology. So when people tell me I don't have opportunity in my area, I always say you don't have to have opportunities in your area. Go outside of the box of your area. Go and reach out to the world, right? It's so big and it's all literally in a phone distance, right? You can be right now anywhere, creating any opportunities, creating any connections, creating anything you want from your phone, from your laptop, right? So think about this. What exactly is stopping you right now? Is it your health, right? Is it your partner? Is it maybe, again, as I mentioned, you think it's lack of opportunities, right? Is it you being a single parent and you have to raise a child and you feel like you can't really do much? Think about this, right? There's always something what we think is stopping us, right? So what I urge you to do is to pay close attention to your reasons. What exactly stopped you so far? Okay, and now of course let's go to step number 3. And the reason why it's step number 3, because we need to know where we are first. We need to know what stops us so far before we need to decide where exactly we're gonna go. So here, let's start thinking, where actually would you like to go in your life? Okay, where actually would you like to end up? Where actually would you like to be? Right? These all are really good questions to ask yourself. And this is your time now. So where actually would you like to be? Right? If you know exactly how you don't like your relationship to be, in that case, this is your time. Think how you would like your relationship to be, how you would like your life to be, right? What is happening in your life when it is absolutely perfect, even though we don't have anything perfect, right? But have a think, what exactly is happening in your life when you feel you are at your best, okay? And that's why step number 3, thinking how you would like that to be, okay? And picturing that in the best possible way. You know what's the most common answer I hear when I say people this? I say, well, but I don't even know what I want. And I say, exciting. That is perfect, because that means it's your opportunity right now to start building your vision board. If you haven't heard of vision board, it's time for you to learn. In that case, drop me a message and I'm more than happy to help you with that. Okay? My vision board actually is something based on what you're gonna find from the outside world inspiration. Go on Instagram, go on Facebook, go on to Google and find maybe 10 things to achieve before you die, 10 locations to visit before you die, or stuff like that, right? Get inspired by other people. You not knowing what you want now doesn't have to stop you, right? You not knowing what you want now, it simply indicates that you were not exposed to too many experiences, and this is not a bad thing. It is just the way you had your life. It's just the way you were raised. It just means that you were never shown what you can achieve and what you can get, but it doesn't mean you cannot, right? So don't allow that to stop you. Start getting inspired. Start getting inspired. Start learning about what is possible. Look at other people, not in terms of comparing yourself to other people, but look at other people for inspiration, right? What do they do that you could do, right? What do they have that you could have? What do they experience that you could experience, right? All of that will definitely help you to get some inspiration, right? But yeah, it's very easy to get discouraged. Very easy. Because you look at other people, you look at their flashy lives, and you think, oh, there's no way I can get there, right? Look at me, my reality is so far away where these people's reality is. However, again, don't get discouraged. If you're not having that life yet, it doesn't mean you cannot have it, right? It only means right now you are in different vibration, right? You are in different circumstances, which are almost like accumulation of what you knew before, what you were thinking before, and who was in your environment. If you did not have somebody who can push you, who can make you grow, how can you end up being like them? Right? So there's nothing to be discouraged about. It actually will be quite powerful if you could understand that this all is just a matter of a time when you will get that. All right. So when you found yourself that, okay, now I know exactly what I want, and now you look at your list of knowing where exactly you are here, and now you also know the reasons or potential reasons why you're there, right? So now we can put this all together. And as I can see the comment here from Cheryl, she says, perfect timing with this subject. This comment is on Facebook. Right? I'm so glad, Cheryl, you actually enjoyed that. This is wonderful because this is something what actually people reach out to me on a very regular basis. So in that case, now we have step number 1, which is be realistic at where you're right now. Write it down, actual facts, no feelings, no emotions, just like you're telling a story to somebody else. I am at my stage of my life where blah, blah, blah. Okay. Second step, what you do from here, you write reasons. Why do you think you are here? Okay. How did you end up being here? Why? What are the reasons? Third step here now is, okay, where do I want to get? Okay, and now we have to close the gap, right? This is the most exciting part, I must say, because now all we have to do is just close that gap. How do we do it? It's easier to say than to do, to be honest, all right? So how do we actually close that gap? When you look at where you are right now, okay, this situation you're at right now, I want you to ask yourself a question. What kind of person is in that situation, right? Who am I right now as a person? What habits do I have? What way of thinking do I have? What kind of people in my life do I have? And what do I know about where I want to get to, right? Because without knowing and without seeing where you're right now, and without understanding what type of personality you're right now, it's really challenging to get yourself to the next stage, okay? Because the way how we close the gap, we'll learn about ourselves and we improve ourselves, okay? We don't change the world, we change you, okay? And we not saying here that you are broke. What I'm saying here, that there are little tweaks which we need to do. Okay, Anil on LinkedIn actually says, "Hi Olga, how are you doing? See you, good to go live. I'm glad you like this live and I hope you will get lots of value from this. But thank you so much for joining." And also I can see Vika joined me, Vika saying on Facebook, "Hi Vika, how are you?" Good to see you all. Thank you so much for joining me. So basically, let's now have a look at what we can do next. And here is where mindset change comes on board, okay? Because as you know, if you always did what you always have done, you will get the same results, okay? That says my favorite guru, Tony Robbins, and I'm sure he probably learned from somebody else as well, right? But actually, we must remember that if you want to close that gap between where you want to get and where you are now, you have to really look at yourself with a magnifying glass, like a really close look, right? And here what we look at, just like I mentioned before, what habits do you have, okay? Look at your habits with a magnifying glass, right? And think, will that person who is already up there, right? Will that person have the same habits as I have? Right? Will that person wake up at the same time as I do? Will that person, which I want to be, that I want to achieve, wear the same outfits as I wear? Will that person communicate with the same people as I do, right? So ask yourself questions. Would you be doing, breathing, wearing, talking, acting, everything the way you do now? And the reason why we do that, because before you go up there, whichever there is for you, you got to become that person first. This is how we close that gap. Okay, and if you are looking at your life and you think, well, but I'll never get that because I don't have education. Yeah, but I'll never get that because I don't have support system. Yeah, but I'll never get that because of blah, blah, blah. That means you are finding excuses. Excuses are coming from your limiting beliefs within your mindset, okay? People have overcome real challenges. If you just look at Olympian champions, if you look at people who succeeded in life, if you look at people who had that different mental illnesses and they still succeeded, you will see that nothing really ever could stop them, right? So this is really good timing for you right now to really step up for yourself and to start thinking, how can I change my mindset, okay? So let's continue closing the gap. Now, you know what are your habits, right? Now you know the way you behave. Now you know what type of people are in your life. Now you analyzed all of that. What's next? Okay, will you really get there straight away like tomorrow? Let me guess, no, right? Because it's not possible. What we need to do from here is to take step-by-step journey, okay? And this journey can be very challenging, especially if you're on your own, especially if you don't have an accountability partner who will help you to see your little pitfalls and to see your little, I call them paddles. Why I call them paddles? Because these paddles are always full of tears, right? So those pitfalls are always full of tears, that's why I call them paddles. And if you are stepping from one paddle to another, you're being too emotional, you're becoming too crying baby because, oh, it didn't happen yet. I've been working on myself for a week and I'm not there yet. Guess what? It takes longer than a week, all right? But the bottom line is, until you decide, and this is an important point, until you decide and you will put an emotion in your decision, until you put a really strong emotion, very often this is emotion of being fed up, of being angry, of being disappointed with yourself, of being completely annoyed with yourself, until you put a really strong emotion saying to yourself, enough is enough, You can watch these videos back and forth. You can read multiple books. You can do bookshelf development, right? You can go to all the seminars. You can work with people, and that not going to help you, right? Because it is about your decision to commit to yourself and to say, I will do whatever it takes. Right? And that's why here so powerfully comes again mindset, right? Mindset work on your mindset. I do mindset coaching, and this is what we do with my clients, okay? We start breaking down into everything what stops them. And you remember I asked you to write down, what do you think what stopped you? Here where it comes so powerful. And I'll teach you some tools which I'm using with my clients. So if you think, let's say, you cannot progress in life because of your language, which was my belief. And I'll give you my own example, right? I, for a long time, was holding on to, I don't speak very good English, and therefore I cannot be on a stage, I cannot do videos, I cannot coach people because I don't speak very good English. Do you think the problem was with the English language? No. I mean, that's my fourth language, okay? So, yes, it could be, right? But do you think I was not able to communicate in English? No. The problem was in my lack of confidence at that moment, right? Because it was coming from my childhood, right? And that's how powerful it is to work on your mindset, to see what stops you now and where does it come from. So when I realized, I did the journey going back to my childhood, and I realized even at my childhood, I wasn't really a spokesperson, right? I was very shy because I had problem with my speech and I wasn't able to talk very openly and freely. And therefore, of course, that created me being very, very shy about my language. Right. So once I discovered that, I was able to replace that with, that was before. That was when I was young. That was when I was little. Kids are quite savage, as you know, right? Kids are quite disrespectful when it comes to other people's challenges, right? So should I really allow them to affect my adulthood, my now? Well, it was like about 10 years ago, but still, right? Should I allow them to affect me now? No, right? So that's why I had to step out of that and to tell myself enough is enough. I will communicate at the level I can, and what I will do, that was the next step, right? What I will do to improve my language, I will get a tutor and I will also get a voice coach, right? So when I went to university to get myself courses, I was declined because they told me, no, your English is way too good for courses. You don't need that. And I was like, duh, thanks, right? However, I did find myself a voice coach who helped me to learn how to pronounce, learn how to speak, learn how to sound more British. I was never aiming to be British, right? Because I do have my Russian accent, which is very subtle, and I do like it. That's my own unique thing, right? But I learned how to embrace it, right? So that's my personal example to you guys, how sometimes a little story in your head can stop you from breaking through in your life, right? So what's your story? Feel free to type it below. Let's have a look at your story. I'm happy to help you right now, right? Let me know what's your story. What do you think stops you now from breaking through in your life or your career or your relationships? And I can see I have more people join, which is amazing. And Olga Brooks asks, which languages do you speak? I speak Russian, which is my mother language. I also speak English, I speak Latvian, and I speak Polish. And I must say that Latvian and Polish languages, they kind of fade right now because I don't speak them that often. And even my native language, which is Russian, now is becoming very much like probably fourth language because I don't use it that often. Even with my child at home, we always speak English because it's just more comfortable for us. So yes, those are four languages. But yes, in terms of in what consequence I was learning English, that was my fourth language. So that was my story, guys. And I'm sure you have your own story, right? And clients, they have so many different stories. I mean, I probably could spend now 5 hours telling you about empowering breakthroughs from my clients. But I'll give you one example. which actually was this morning, and it's so fresh, it's so very unique. So this morning I was working with a client who he was not into technology. He was not into going onto Zoom calls because when the lockdown started, we had to move on, right? He was not into working over video. He never wanted to be recorded, because what I do when I work with my clients, in order for you to hear yourself better, I record sessions with my clients and I send them to my clients so they can hear themselves, right? So as many times I was offering him, hey, let me record the session for you. He was like, no, I don't want to hear myself, don't want that. And his story was that I will be judged. And even though the video will be for himself, he still didn't want to hear himself because he didn't like himself. He did not accept himself because he was overweight. He wasn't doing that great in his business. But the reason he wasn't doing that great in his business, because he wasn't allowing himself to be brave enough, step out of his comfort zone and to go and achieve and reach whatever he wanted to reach, right? So this morning, it was remarkable how we had a session. Towards the end of the session, he says, Olga, that was such a good session. Oh my God, I had such a breakthrough. And for him, it was more business related. And he said, Olga, I just wonder, maybe we should start recording these sessions, because sometimes I say some things and I'm thinking, oh, it's a pity I did not write them down. And I was like, bingo, right? Bingo. Now he's ready to face himself on a video, right? And it's not about him jumping and doing live. It's about him facing himself during our coaching session, right? And that's just a tiny example out of many examples. People have breakthroughs about their weight, why they cannot lose their weight. I'm not a weight specialist, but I know everything is in our head, right? I know we all are holding on to our weight. Okay, people cannot break through from their relationships. They think they were with a Mr. or Mrs. Perfect. And then actually, when we break through everything, we just see that that person was never a perfect person. That person was just addicted, right? And you were addicted to each other. So there's so many things which are living in our mindset, right? Which we need to declutter, we need to remove, we need to delete in order to break through. So going to your exercise number 2 or your task number 2, I would say here, write down everything what you think is stopping you, right? If you haven't written down, take your time now. And then after you've written that down, make sure you do question yourself. Is it true? Why do I feel that way? Is the fact, or is it my made-up imaginary fact, right? And so on, right? And if you struggle, in that case, I would definitely suggest you to reach out to me, because nothing can be worse than you being stuck within your own old mindset messages, right? So once you discovered all of them, what you can do, opposite each of those stories, you can write down your new empowering story, which will help you to break through in your life, okay? Which will help you to go towards to what you want, to become that person who you want to be once you're up there, right? So all you have to do is just to dig deeper, find the root of that limiting belief and replace it, as I mentioned earlier, with empowering, really empowering new story. And that could be absolutely anything, right? That could be, I made bad choices before because I was learning. I made poor choices before because I didn't know how. Now I do, okay? I chose a wrong partner because I was craving and I was desperate for love, but now I choose myself and I'm going to work on myself, right? Or I'm not happy with my life because I was always pleasing other people, because this was the way I was earning love, right? And I wanted to be loved and appreciated, but not anymore. Now I choose myself and I'm going to step up for myself, right? So whatever your old story is, all you have to do is just replace it with a new story and remind yourself about it again and again, right? That also means adapting your new habits with this new story. That also means adapting your lifestyle with these stories, right? Everything what's surrounding you should really change. It's not only you having breakthrough, it is your car having breakthrough, it is your house having breakthrough, it is your social circle having breakthrough, it is your wardrobe having breakthrough, right? Literally everything in your life should have breakthrough if you want to have a breakthrough. All right. And now what you do next after you replace your limiting stories with more positive ones, you actually start practicing being that person in that new you body, new you life, right? So whatever it is, you start practicing being that new person, right? You breathe like that new person, you wear outfits like that new person, you act like that new person, you behave like that new person, you do everything like that new person. So that becomes natural in your subconscious. So that becomes your second skin. That becomes your natural. That becomes your normality, right? Well, I hope that will help you, because that's a very simplified way of how we have breakthroughs in lives, in relationships, and also careers with my clients, right? As I said earlier, we first of all realize where they are right now. Second of all, we realize what stops them from getting somewhere else. And thirdly, we realize where they would like to get to, right? And then we do deep work on the mindset. We declutter old messages. We delete old stories. We delete all those stuff which were told to my clients, right? Because all of that served you before. But now it's time to step up for yourself and to allow yourself to have your time of your life. I must say, I am excited to see every time when my clients have breakthrough, because that is very, very powerful. And if you need some help, you know exactly where I am. However, there's so many other people as well. If you don't want to work with me for one reason or another, I respect that. But please don't delay. Your time is now. Before I finish off, let me share with you a story. When my mom was pregnant, that was only 2 weeks after their wedding, right? It was 28th of July, 1984. They were married only for 2 weeks, and my mom was waiting for my dad to come back home. Back then, we didn't have a WhatsApp. We didn't have Telegram. And we didn't have mobile phone, right? So she couldn't call my dad to tell him exciting news about her being pregnant. My dad was really looking forward to have a baby. He was talking about baby. He was dreaming about baby, particularly baby girl, right? He wanted to have a girl, and he was talking about this nonstop. And my mom, she told him, "We're gonna have a baby when God decides." And that day she found out she was pregnant. She was desperate to tell my dad that actually she is going to have a baby, right? And they're going to have a baby. Do you think she told him? She never had the chance, because my dad never came back home. He died, unfortunately, in an accident, but I was already there, right? And that's my most powerful lesson from my dad's death. Even though I never met my dad, I know I am partially him. I am partially my mom, I'm partially my dad. But I carry through my entire life the most important lesson. If you think about it now, if you feel like doing it now, that means your time is now. It's time for you to step up for yourself. It's time for you to use this time which you have right now in your hands, whether it is extra an hour a day or 5 hours a day. I don't care, even if it is just 5 minutes a day. It's time for you to step up for yourself. I'm not sure for how much longer you're ready to wait. I'm not sure how many more years you want to waste. But if you really value yourself and if you really value your life, then step up for yourself. It's time to have your own breakthrough. It's time to really change your life. So whatever it is, step up for yourself. If you cannot do it yourself, it is fine. It is so rare when somebody can do it by themselves. It is actually almost impossible because you can never be your own accountability partner, right? So if you cannot do it by yourself, reach out to me. I help so many people across the globe, and I can help you. But a part of me, there's so many other amazing coaches who also can help you. But the last thing what you want to do is to allow yourself to live the life which you lived so far, if you were not happy with that. I hope that will serve you. I hope it will help you. And if you want to get more inspiration and more motivation, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because there you'll find a lot more amazing videos which actually will help you to get inspired, to get motivated, and to break through, because there are so many interviews with amazing people who came to my show to share their stories. So feel free to join my YouTube channel tribe and learn from amazing speakers up there. But thank you so much for being with me today. Thank you so much for sharing your awesome time with me. I appreciate you, I value you, and I wish you all the best. The one thing which I really, really wish for, that you finally step up for yourself and you become that owner of your own life, that goddess of your life, that boss of your life, the person who really owns your life. Chela says, what a great session. Thank you, Olga, for the motivation. It's my pleasure, my darling. I'm here to help and I'm here to serve. And it brings me so much happiness and so much joy when I know there's another life which was impacted and changed. So thank you so much for your kind comment. I really appreciate that. So I would love to hear from you if you have applied anything out of these shared tips, because these were so helpful for my clients. So why wouldn't you use this if it was given for free, right? That would be just a nonsense to hear this all for free without me charging you and not to use it. So stop doing bookshelf development, right? Stop doing your laptop development. Stop doing your phone development and work on yourself. Step up for your own personal development and start living life of your dream, because you will break through. Thank you so much. I value you. I appreciate you. I love you. And I'll see you tomorrow. Those who can join me on LinkedIn, just find me on LinkedIn, join me there. And actually tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m., I'm going live with 10 minutes inspiration to kickstart you.